Tonight, we step away from the comfort of modern heat and electric light to stand on a frozen hillside in the year 1340. The air here does not just touch your skin, it bites, sharp and insistent, carrying the profound silence of a world without engines. You are already awake, though the sun has not yet thought about rising, because in the deep winter of the Middle Ages, the cold does not permit the luxury of unbroken sleep. Your breath plumes in front of you, a momentary ghost of warmth that vanishes instantly into the gray dark. Beneath your leather boots, the grass is no longer soft vegetation. It is a crunching lattice of ice, brittle and loud in the stillness. You are a shepherd, the guardian of the wool that fuels the economy of kingdoms, and tonight, like 1,000 nights before it, your primary task is simply to endure. Before you settle in, take a moment to pull your own blanket closer. If you enjoy this slow descent into the quiet details of the past, please support the channel. And if you are listening to this from somewhere cold, or perhaps somewhere warm and safe, let the contrast deepen your relaxation. Let the modern world fade. We are going back to the basics of survival. You stand on high ground, not for the view, but for the advantage. In the medieval world, elevation means visibility, even in the dark. The wind here is a physical weight, pressing against your woolen cloak, testing every seam for a weakness. You are not merely a watcher of sheep. You are a living barrier between the flock and the winter. The economy of your village, the taxes of your lord, and the trade of the nearest market town all rely on the animals huddled below you. This pressure feels as heavy as the frost on your shoulders. You pull your cloak tighter, a reflex you have performed so many times that your hands find the folds without thought. The wool is rough, smelling of lanolin and wood smoke, a scent that has become your second skin. This is not a cozy winter evening by a hearth. This is a workplace where the elements are your colleagues and your adversaries. The cold here is not a sudden shock, but a creeping invasion. It starts at the extremities, a dull ache in the toes that you have learned to ignore, then moves inward, seeking the heat of your core. You feel it in your jaw first, a tightness that makes you grit your teeth against the shiver. The wind carries a complex scent profile, the metallic tang of coming snow, the earthy musk of the sheep, and the biting purity of frozen mud. You listen. In this era, before streetlights pushed back the night, your ears are your primary defense. A snapped twig, a sudden hush in the flock, the distant mournful howl of a wolf, these are the signals that dictate your night. Sleep for you is not a surrender, it is a tactical pause. It is a shallow drifting, where one part of your mind remains forever standing guard on this hillside. As you prepare to lie down, you do not think of time in hours or minutes. Those are measurements for monks in their cells or merchants in the town squares. Your time is measured by sensation. It is measured by the stiffness in your knees, by the fading glow of the embers in your small hidden fire, and by the shifting constellations wheeling slowly overhead. Historians and scholars have long debated the sleep patterns of the medieval laborer. Did they sleep in two distinct blocks? Did they nap throughout the day? For you, here in the biting wind, the answer is simpler and more brutal. You sleep when the cold allows, and you wake when the flock demands. It is a fragmented existence, a series of short naps stitched together by periods of intense, shivering vigilance. You lower yourself to the ground with the care of an old man, though you may be only 20. The earth is hard, unforgiving, and drains heat with terrifying efficiency. You have chosen this spot carefully, seeking the lee side of a small ridge, a natural depression in the land that forces the wind to jump over you rather than scour you. You have no mattress, no featherbed. You have only the layers you wear and perhaps a pile of dried bracken or straw you gathered before the sun went down. You lie on your side, curling inward, your knees drawn up toward your chest. This fetal position is not an emotional retreat. It is a biological necessity to reduce the surface area exposed to the freezing air. As you settle, a piece of folk wisdom drifts through your mind, something an elder shepherd once muttered over a cup of ale. Sleep with your head uphill, and the bad spirits cannot roll down into your dreams. You realize you have done exactly that. Whether it stops spirits or simply keeps the blood from rushing to your head, you do not know, but you follow the tradition all the same. Surrounding you, the sheep are a singular, breathing organism. They have clustered together, their woolly bodies interlocking to share warmth. You can hear their low, rhythmic breathing, a sound like a gentle tide. There is no sentimentality in your closeness to them tonight. It is a matter of physics. Their body heat creates a microclimate, a small pocket of survival in the vast, indifferent winter. Your dog, a shaggy, rough-coated beast that is more partner than pet, presses its spine against your back. You feel its heartbeat, slower than yours, steady and calm. This animal is your alarm system, your weapon, and your blanket. You think for a fleeting second of the stone cottages in the valley below, of shuttered windows and thick thatch roofs, but you push the thought away. Envy burns energy you cannot spare. Acceptance is the only fuel that lasts the night. Your eyelids grow heavy, not with the pleasant drowsiness of a warm room, but with the crushing weight of exhaustion. Your day began long before dawn, filled with the physical labor of checking hooves, moving hurdles, and treating rot. Tomorrow will be the same. As sleep approaches, it comes in waves. You drift, then the wind shifts and you wake. You drift again, and a sheep stamps its foot and you wake. This is the rhythm of your life. The ground presses cold through your tunic, through your hose, seeking your skin. But your body has adapted. You have developed a kind of callus against the discomfort, a mental toughness that allows you to find rest in conditions that would break a city dweller. Somewhere in the distance, ice cracks on a frozen stream, a sound like a pistol shot in the silence. It slices through your drowsiness, but you do not panic. You know that sound. It is just the winter tightening its grip. You breathe in, the air stinging your nostrils, and breathe out a long, slow cloud of steam. This is the beginning of the night, not a singular event, but a long sequence of endurance. You are slipping into the light, watchful sleep that medieval shepherds perfected over centuries, never fully gone, never fully here. You wake again without realizing you had truly slept. This is the trick winter teaches you. Rest comes in thin, stacked layers. You check the sky. The stars have shifted. The great wheel of the heavens has turned a few degrees, telling you that perhaps an hour has passed. The cold has deepened. It is that profound, hollow cold that comes when the earth has lost all the memory of the sun. This is the shepherd's reality. The year has turned, and with it, your entire understanding of comfort has shifted. In the summer, you slept under the stars with a sense of freedom. Now you sleep under them with a sense of siege. You adjust your position, rolling your shoulders to relieve the pressure of the hard ground. The soil beneath you feels like iron. You tuck your cloak tighter around your legs, pressing your boots together. These small adjustments are a language of survival, passed down without books. You learned them by watching your father, who learned them from his father. There is a faint, lingering smell of wood smoke on your clothes, clinging to the rough weave of your tunic. Some historical records suggest shepherds deliberately left their clothes unwashed and smoke-stained in winter, believing the scent masked their human smell from predators. You do not mind the smell. It feels like armor. It smells like life. A lesser-known detail of your trade comes to mind as you settle. In some regions, shepherds were advised to sleep with a small bell in their hand, rather than tying it to a sheep. The theory was that a single deliberate ring from a human hand could startle a wolf without causing the entire flock to stampede in blind panic. You hold your hand near your chest, fingers curled, ready. You do not know if it works, and you hope not to find out tonight, but the readiness calms you. Silence is a layer you wear as consciously as your wool. You move slowly when you must move, ensuring your leather gear does not creak, ensuring your boots do not scrape. You have become part of the landscape, a silent stone that breathes. The night stretches out. Without a mechanical clock, you rely on the signs, the angle of the moon, the behavior of the dog, the way the frost sparkles on the wool of the nearest ewe. Scholars argue about how medieval people perceived time. Was it by the church bells or by the sun? For you, time is biological. It is the time to wake, the time to shiver, the time to check the fire. You adjust your legs, careful not to break the seal of warmth you have created. The fire is a small pit, dug low to hide the light and protect the coals from the wind. It is not a blazing bonfire. That would be wasteful and dangerous. It is a bed of smoldering peat or hardwood, giving off just enough heat to keep your blood moving, but not enough to make you sweat. Sweat is death in this cold. If you get wet, you freeze. So you maintain a delicate balance, warm enough to survive, cold enough to stay dry. The cold creeps in through your hands first. Medieval shepherds depended almost entirely on wool. You are wrapped in layers of it, a tunic against your skin, a thicker jerkin over that, and finally the great cloak, heavy with lanolin oil that repels the damp. You flex your fingers inside your sleeves, feeling the rough fabric against your numb skin. This is the test, not a battle with a sword, but a battle of patience. Can you endure the stillness? Can you endure the discomfort without breaking your vigilance? You think of the barns in the valley, the cows shedding heat into the enclosed air, the smell of manure and milk. It seems like a palace from here, but you are not a cowherd. You are a shepherd, and your place is on the hill. The wind shifts direction, sliding around the slope and cutting through your shelter. You sit up slowly, mindful of the flock. You scan the dark shapes of the landscape. Shelter is not a single place. It is a constant negotiation. You decide to move. Just 20 paces down the slope, there's a cluster of limestone rocks that might offer a better windbreak. You rise, your joints popping in the cold, and the dog rises with you instantly. The sheep shift, their eyes reflecting the moonlight and eerie green flashes, but they do not run. They know you. You move to the rocks, feeling the ground for dryness. It is uneven, but the wind is cut in half here. You kneel, arranging your straw, arranging your cloak. This is not about comfort, it's about compromise. You trade the flat ground for the windbreak. You trade one ache for another. You settle again, pressing your back against the cold stone. It leaches heat from you, but it stops the wind. The smell of damp earth rises around you. You listen. The flock breathes. The dog circles 3 times and lies down, facing the dark. You are a triad, man, dog, and sheep, bound together against the void. Shelter is never complete. Someone must always face the dark. You close your eyes, trusting your ears. The debate among historians about permanent shepherd huts versus temporary shelters seems distant to you. You use what exists. Tonight, the land is your house. You pull your cloak over your face for a moment, trapping your breath to warm your nose and cheeks, then lower it to breathe freely. The air inside your clothes smells of you, of sweat, of smoke, of old wool. It is a human smell in a wild place. You run your thumb over the hem of your cloak, feeling the clumsy, thick stitching where you mended a tear last autumn. Each repair tells a story of a snag on a briar, a stumble on a rock. Your clothes are a map of your labor. Your head is covered by a thick, felted cap, pulled low over your ears. Without it, the headache of the cold would be unbearable. Heat rises, and you must cap it like a chimney. As you drift off again, your mind touches on the food in your pouch. Hunger is a constant companion in winter. You sit up and fumble with frozen fingers at the leather ties. Inside is a heel of bread, hard as a rock, and a piece of hard cheese. You break a small piece of bread. It is dry and cold, but as you chew it slowly, it becomes fuel. The digestion will create heat from the inside. You drink a small sip of water from your flask. Ale would dull your senses, and you cannot afford that. Just enough water to swallow. You save the rest. You do not know if tomorrow will bring snow that covers the streams. Preparedness is a form of rest. Knowing you have food allows you to sleep. A strange old custom comes to mind. Shepherds who slept in their day clothes, layering everything they owned, sometimes even wearing tomorrow's clothes over today's. You are doing that now. It is not just for warmth, it's for readiness. If a wolf attacks, you cannot ask it to wait while you dress.
You are always ready. This state of constant readiness wears on the mind, but the body learns to accept it. You notice the sounds of your own clothing, the creak of leather, the whisper of wool. You learn to filter these out so that only the foreign sounds trigger your alarm. The fire pops, a small explosion of sparks. You watch them die in the cold air. You consider adding another branch, but you hesitate. Wood is scarce up here, and the night is long. You decide to wait. You rely on the dog's heat and the proximity of the sheep. There is a debate about whether shepherds shared body heat with their flock. On the coldest nights, you have absolutely pressed yourself into the woolly mass of the herd. It is smelly, it is dirty, and it is the warmest place in the world. Tonight, you stay just on the edge, part of the group, but distinct from it. You drift deeper this time. A dream comes, fragmented and gray. You are walking across a field that never ends, the sheep moving silently ahead of you. There is no sound in the dream, only the sensation of walking. Then a sudden sound from the real world, a snort from a wether, or the cry of a nightjar, yanks you back. You wake with your heart hammering, hand already on your knife. You scan the darkness. Nothing. Just the wind. The dog hasn't moved. You force your breathing to slow. Adrenaline is useful, but it leaves you cold when it fades. You must manage your body's chemistry as carefully as you manage the fire. The cold has a weight now. It feels like it is pressing you into the earth. You draw your knees up, making yourself a smaller target for the frost. This posture, this tight ball of humanity, is the universal shape of winter survival. From the mountains of Italy to the moors of England, shepherds are lying in this exact position right now. You are part of a silent brotherhood of the freezing. The thought offers a strange, bleak comfort. You are not the only one shivering. You think of the coming spring. It seems impossible that this ground will ever be soft again, that green shoots will break this iron earth. But the calendar in your head says it is coming. The saints' days mark the slow march toward Easter, toward rebirth. You hold on to that. Winter is a tunnel, and you are simply walking through it. You adjust your hip against a rock. Comfort is not the goal. Survival is the goal. Being able to stand up tomorrow morning is the goal. The dog shifts, letting out a long sigh. It is dreaming too, maybe of rabbits, maybe of a warm fire. You envy its ability to sleep so instantly. You stroke its head, the coarse fur cold to the touch but warm underneath. This contact grounds you. It reminds you that you are a team. The medieval world is full of dangers, thieves, wolves, sickness. But here, in this small circle of warmth, there is a truce. As the hours grind on, the sky begins to change. It is not light yet, but the quality of the darkness shifts. It becomes gray rather than black. The stars lose their hard diamond edge. The temperature drops its final, cruelest degree, the pre-dawn chill that seeks to finish what the night started. You know this is the hardest part. If you fall asleep now, deeply, you might not wake up. The deadly sleep of hypothermia is a story every shepherd knows. So you rouse yourself. You move your toes. You flex your legs. You sit up and stir the fire, blowing on the last red coals until a tiny flame licks upward. You feed it your last piece of wood. It is a defiance. You are telling the winter that you are still here. You stand up, your joints screaming in protest. You stomp your feet on the frozen ground, the sound ringing out across the valley. The dog stands and shakes itself, a cloud of dust and ice crystals flying from its coat. The sheep begin to bleat, a low, complaining sound. They know the night is ending. You walk the perimeter of the flock, counting shapes in the gloom. They are all there. You have brought them through. You look to the east. A line of bruised purple cracks the horizon. The sun is coming. It will bring no heat for hours yet, but it brings sight. It brings the end of the long vigil. You feel a profound, quiet pride. It is not the pride of a soldier who has won a battle, but the pride of a stone that has weathered the storm. You have endured. You lean on your crook, watching the light spill across the frost-rimmed backs of your sheep. You are tired, your body is stiff, and you are cold to your marrow, but you are alive. And tonight, when the sun sets again, you will do it all over again, because you are a shepherd, and the winter does not wait.